All right, what is going on, people? Despise Gossip Podcast is back for its 4th episode. First off, I want to say thank y'all to watching. Seriously, I want to sit down and say thank y'all. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all been supporting, and we love doing it. And all the questions, and whatnot. We really appreciate it. We love the interest. We want to keep building this up. We want to keep doing this for y'all. We want to keep getting guests on. So. Keep supporting.
Yeah, keep showing the love. It's been good and interesting to see. We definitely thought only like 5 people were going to watch this, and there's definitely a lot more than 5 of you. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And leave comments with any questions and whatnot, and like recommendations, even like what you want us to talk about. But so welcome back, episode 4. We got a lot to cover as it's going on to Black Friday.
Yes.
It is Thanksgiving week. So yeah, this is a crazy week for us, just because we're trying to prep everything. We're trying to get everything ready for Black Friday. We have a lot of really cool things planned for you guys, basically. We're trying to find a way to, obviously we want to do a big sale because we have so many items that we have that we're trying to sell.
Also just in general, Black Friday sales, I feel like it's like the start of holiday shopping. You know, it's the excitement. It's everybody is, amped up and ready to go, and I feel like, not even just us, but I feel like so many people I know are dying and waiting for Black Friday to be here.
Yeah, definitely a lot of people look forward to that. A lot of people are hyped for that. So yeah, so basically busy week. We're trying to figure out how we're gonna do it. Essentially, we came to the idea of, because our whole thing is like, okay, yeah, sure, everyone's gonna be Black Friday shopping, so like every company's doing a sale, and we're trying to differentiate ourselves in that and stand out. So basically, what we have doing, I'll give you the rundown of what we got going on. So basically, if you haven't heard, our whole website's going to be 30% off from Friday morning, midnight, Thanksgiving midnight, all the way to Cyber Monday midnight. All of our websites going to be 30% off. That's going to be automatically added to when you check out. So that's huge. So we love that. We have thousands of items, like literally sitting. Really good items too, honestly. Like items that I can't believe are still available, just sitting, chilling. But then we're also going to throw in there different categories of items like bell bottoms or loop collars or knitwear or varsity jackets and whatnot. Basically, we're going to have those rotating, and for a select time, for a couple of hours, they're going to be 40% off. So they're going to be an extra 10% off. Kind of to build some,
I feel like it's
demand.
Not even that.
Not demand, but like attention.
I think it's build momentum, and like we feel like there's some categories that often get overlooked or kind of like, oh, like that. I was like, just
we have a lot of
forgotten about categories, and I figured this would be an easy and useful way to kind of highlight some categories and bring some attention to categories that are more slept on, like categories that we have kind of chosen. Like one of the categories that's going to be in this spotlight zone is going to be loop collars, and that's an article of vintage fashion you love that I don't really see very many people across the board showing a whole bunch of love to. I feel like I'm always like, dude, like I know you love loop collars, but I don't really get it. But like,
people definitely love them too. See, like it's a vintage thing.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, so basically, that's essentially what we want to do is have a certain time period where these items are at extra money off, right? So it's like, so it keeps kind of like you guys, our audience, like looking at our stuff and like checking Instagram, seeing what we just dropped. We'll drop a schedule of what the items will be and when they're going to go live.
But it'll be basically through the whole weekend. It'll be
whole weekend,
a
rotation
list on the front homepage of the website, just a rotating spotlight of what items are going to be on the 40% off sale.
And we're going to do like Levi's. We're going to do like Levi's. We're going to do workwear, like all workwear, which is crazy stuff. We're going to do all T-shirts. We're going to do, again, Levi's, flares. We're going to do accessories, like all the footwear we have, all the hats we have, the belts we have. We're going to do, what are some
workwear?
Knitwear.
You say
I said workwear. Knitwear. We're going to do loop collars, like we said. We're going to do a custom drop. All of our customs pieces that we still have left over. So if you're looking at, we have a couple Wonderwear jackets. We have a couple over-dyed flared denim still. We got some of the flared patch shorts, if you remember those.
Yeah, but if you're so new you don't even remember any of those, this is your chance to kind of get a glimpse of them and see what.
Yeah, we really only have a couple of those items left.
There's really like 2 or 3 per release that are left.
And then obviously all the hickory stripe too. We still have like probably like 10 pairs of
I think
those.
we got probably like 20 pairs.
Oh, 20?
Yeah.
Okay, we probably got 20 pairs of those. I was just looking over there, like, I feel like we got like 15.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, like, obviously those, so if you've been looking at them, but you ain't want to pull the trigger on them because the price, like, now's the time. Now's the perfect time. If you want to get the 30% off, or if you want to wait to get the 40% off, then, yeah, do that. But, yeah, so we're hype on that. We're going to love putting that out for y'all. Also,
I was going to say the dates for that is it starts Thursday at midnight. So, like,
23rd.
Yeah, the night
Well,
of the
technically
23rd, technically the morning of the 24th. So, like, Friday morning at midnight, at like 12 a.m. / Thursday night, however you want to say it. But it's basically, it starts on the 24th at midnight.
Yeah.
And it goes through Monday. So it doesn't just stop on Monday morning, but it goes through Monday night. And it stops on Tuesday morning, whatever you want to call it, 11:59 on Monday night is when it ends.
Yeah, like literally, there's going to be a new rotation of items every 8 hours.
Yeah, every 8
we're also
hours.
going to have a closet sale too. So for the people who have been asking about stuff that I wear in the reels, that's like not even for sale, but like personal stuff, we're going to have a decent amount of that stuff.
Just so often, I feel like people love to comment and ask, like, I want that shirt that you have on that's in like the second clip of this video.
Right. Well, I think that's kind of it kind of goes into like the idea of like how we do our content differently and about how we kind of take like this influencer approach to a business model content. Because, bro, if you look at influencers, that's really what they do. They wear something, especially fashion influencers. They wear something, and people just like look at what they're wearing and be like, "Ayo, what are those pants? Ayo, what's that T-shirt? Ayo, what are those shoes?" You know?
Yeah.
And like that's how, and then you just plug them, and then boom, and then that's how like brand deals are done. That's how like whatever is done.
Except for this is not an influencer game that we're
No,
playing.
not really. Yeah, but it's just like kind of like what happens.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be. I have like 20 items I took from my closet that we're gonna have for sale, and those are going to be 40% off when we drop those too. So, like, we're going to drop new items that are already 40% off. So, yeah, you guys are definitely in for a treat. If you got some extra cash, whatever, like, dude, now is the time. Because also, the good thing about buying vintage, normal priced, okay, hear me out on this. The good thing about buying vintage, normal priced, is that it's going to keep its value. It's not like you're buying something at the mall, right, from the store, and it's like, because you bought it and because you've worn it already, like
it's a Goodwill donation.
It's a Goodwill donation, or it's like maybe if you do sell it, maybe if you do buy something really expensive from like J. Crew, right? And then like you wear it for a little bit, and then you want to get rid of it, you're gonna resell it for like half the price. Or sell it on eBay on something. Yeah. But vintage clothing, dude, you can get it, you can wear it, and I've seen this a lot of times even with myself. I get something, I wear something, I see that one thing is really trending, and then I go to resell it, and that's like more money. I made money off of me getting it at this time and then reselling it at this time.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how we started the whole business thing. But yeah,
and like what did I do? All I did was wear it. So it's like total net is like I didn't lose any money. So that's why it's good to buy vintage. But yeah, so that's why it's good to buy vintage normal priced. But even with this discount, even with the 40% discount, like dude, you could go to our website. You can get some bells.
Value.
You can get some bell bottoms. If you get them at the 40% off, you can get them for like $40-$50 and wear them for a couple months and then sell them for $90.
Right.
Literally, like straight up, like bro, you can honestly make bread off of all these Black Friday deals, which, like, it's a real thing that could happen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why buy vintage is like the GOAT, thing, dude. Because it's just like you just move stuff. Like you get stuff in for a little bit and then you move it out and then you either make money off of it, you break even, maybe you take a little bit of a loss.
But you're definitely not like going to buy
you're not $60 money into something.
You're not buying a $60 sweatshirt and then after a year and a half and you don't really wear it, so like you trying to clean out your closet and you post on your Instagram story because like my wife does this a lot, but she'll love to sell a lot of her old like clothes she doesn't wear on her Instagram story, and she'd like post a lot of stuff for like $15.
Yeah, like literally just wants to get rid of it.
Right.
Better to get nothing.
Because it's
still better to get something than nothing.
A decent sweatshirt, whatever the sweatshirt is. You know, and I think it's
But with vintage, you can do that, and I know all y'all out there. If you like vintage, you have Grailed and Depop and eBay on your phone, right? Like you just have those things, and you also know how easy it is to just list something really really quickly.
Yep.
So yeah, buying vintage is the GOAT, bro. It's like literally the best way to shop. It is the best. Some of the best clothes too. It's so affordable, so accessible. Like it just makes so much sense for so many reasons, bro. Like buying vintage is literally like the GOAT.
Right. Well, it's just like the whole idea of why maybe this isn't a correct analogy, but it's like why you buy a used car as opposed to a new car. Like,
Yeah.
It's better to buy used, and you get more value out of it in the long term. And also, like, you have the whole it was made a long time ago, so like you're not constantly buying factory clothes, factory fast fashion kind of.
Exactly. So you're not feeding into that thing.
You're also
it's
not,
like
you're
check so many different boxes.
You're not feeding into the whole sweatshop in China kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's definitely the best way to shop. So take advantage of the Black Friday deal. You know, take advantage of that because not only yes, you could totally re-upgrade your wardrobe, but if you make up your mind and be like, yo, in a couple of weeks I don't want this anymore, or a couple of months I don't want this anymore, resell it, bro. Like, resell it.
Also, the night of the initial sale, I think this would be kind of a fun thing that people would have a lot of fun with. The night of the official sale, we are doing a giveaway on Instagram Live right at midnight on Thursday night, Friday morning, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go live. We're going to do a giveaway where we're giving away a $100 gift card.
Yes.
You can use that on literally whatever.
Yep.
Whenever. Doesn't matter. There's no expiration on it.
Save it. Use it now. Whatever. But just pop into the live, right? I'll start the live. We'll chill in there for like 5-10 minutes.
Let people fill in there.
Yeah, just try to get all of y'all in there. Y'all could just say what's up, what's popping. And then I'll just pick a random person that's in the live. So you have to be in the live. And then I'll just pick a random name from that live.
You could win $100.
And you could literally win $100. And you could use it for Black Friday. So if you win the $100 and then you use it on 40% items, bro, you're gonna who knows how much you could really get. You could stretch that thing far.
So far.
Stretch that thing far. Dude.
I mean, that's like $150 value or whatever the actual math adds up to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah. So.
Or even I feel like it's closer to like
200.
No, not 200. It's like 50. Like it's like it might be like 180 though. Like 170. I don't know the exact.
So you get $180 of free clothes.
Pretty much.
Based off with the Black Friday deals, if you win the giveaway.
Just for being in Instagram Live.
Just for being in the Instagram
No
Live.
cost to you, just hanging out.
Just literally posting up in there, bro. Like, you don't even got to really type nothing. I mean, I would appreciate it if y'all came in and been like, hey, what up?
Mm-hmm. That is a good thing to bring up of, if people are asking you for gift ideas this holiday season and you don't know what to tell them, or like you have your eyes set on like you want to grow your wardrobe, you want to expand your closet and stuff. And you don't really, like, you have aunts and uncles and family members and brothers and sisters and siblings and friends who want to buy stuff for you. But the one thing that I've learned is that buying clothes for people is so hard because you don't know how they're going to fit. If I even like the nuances of a piece, like I like nuances of pieces way differently than he does. And like, that's a fine thing. But, just finding that exact kind of stuff that you like, and buying that for somebody or trying to explain to somebody who's buying for you, it can feel like you run into some difficulties. And so
100%.
What we've done is we release gift cards on the website. I think it's a great option if you're, trying to give gift ideas, you don't know what to give people. We release gift cards. Like, they're just right on the front page if you want a gift card. And if you've signed up for our email list, you saw that you got an email this week saying that you got 20% off all gift cards. If you use the link in the email.
We had somebody buy a $100 gift card for 20% off and then go around and use the $100 gift card. So they basically got the 20% off.
Right.
Just smart. I commend them. Honestly. Finding loopholes in the system. But hey,
use it.
You do your thing. Hustle, bro. Bro. Can we talk about these gifts? I scroll on TikTok and I see so many TikToks of what to get this person in your life who likes fashion. Right?
Really?
I see so many TikToks at that. I see so many TikToks of this, bro. And dude, they always put socks on there, like cool socks. Like, everyone loves the socks from Skims, like the men's like lounge knit socks.
I've seen like my wife Katie. She loves Outdoor Voices. And they like have their own socks that like people die over it. I don't really.
Dude, I don't get it.
I don't get it, dude.
I don't get it,
it's also
bro.
Come from two dudes who buy socks from Walmart because they're the cheapest socks.
100%, bro. I don't care about socks. Yeah. Because I never show my socks ever in public. No one sees my socks. You know what I'm saying? Right. No one sees my socks, so I don't really care. I mean, if they work, they work. But I find it so interesting. I'm like, dude, I'm scrolling TikTok. I'm seeing this, and they also just have like a bunch of different clothes recommendations. Yeah. And that's why, again, like, gift card is so easy to do, bro.
Gift cards might be one of like the most underrated / like, I feel like there's this stigma with them that they're a thoughtless gift. That's like, oh, you just got me a gift card, like, oh well. But In reality, it's like if you put enough on it, like I was listening to a podcast today and they were talking about, $5 gift card, that's not getting you anywhere. Like, what are you doing with $5? I feel like that's when it treads into thoughtless
$5 is you
category.
Forget about that, John.
Right. But I feel like
Throw it in the
if
junk
it's like, 15, 20 to $50 on a gift card, like, I feel like it's,
I think if you get a gift card, it's got to be at minimum $25 minimum.
I would agree, probably. Yeah, around that boat. But it's like, if I want to get you something in fashion, I don't have the same fashion eye as you do, nor do I like the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I want to get you because I know, and I'll get you something because I know you love fashion. I'm probably going to get you, I mean, how many years have I gotten you gift cards to, like, Zoomies and other stuff like that? Because
facts.
you were big into skating back then when we were younger, and I knew you needed skateboard stuff, but I didn't know exactly what you needed. I didn't know exactly what other people were going to get him. I don't know.
Just like clothes, bro. Like,
there's so many nuances,
specifics, and like sizes, and like, oh well, you don't want this because of this, and that. And it's like, whatever, bro.
Mm-hmm.
To expect someone to know all that about you is a lot.
Yeah, and so I feel like I'd always get you like a $50 gift card to Zoomies, and you loved it because either you go get new bearings, new wheels, maybe a new deck if it was cheap enough, or use a little bit of your own money with the gift card to get something nice. And yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a very underrated and forgotten, slept on kind of gift. I feel like it, like I said, it's got that average stigma that it's a thoughtless gift. It's a gift card. Come on. But
I just think they're so practical and they work. Like, bro, don't get someone socks, bro. Look, if I got socks, I understand it's like, okay, this person isn't going to buy socks for themselves, and this is a nice pair of socks. But there's so many other cooler gift ideas than socks, bro.
Like, I don't need three. Socks. I don't need 3 pairs of socks for $18.
No, I don't.
That's absurd.
I don't.
I can get like 5 for $5 at Walmart.
Also, bro, whenever I get like thick, higher quality socks, my dogs just sweat.
Dude,
unreal amount.
Yeah. I'm with it.
That's unreal.
That
sucks, bro. And then some socks are thicker, so you put your shoes on, and like, oh, my shoes are kind of like tight now on my feet because like these socks are so thick. Bro, don't get socks. That's an L gift. That's an L gift, bro. Get him a Despise gossip gift card, not no socks, bro.
Yeah, like I said, it's all on the website, right on the front page.
Yeah. Doing that for the holiday season, obviously. We'll probably just keep them up though. If you like, days are year round.
I think it's a great holiday gift.
great holiday
especially
gift,
when you got aunts and uncles who are wanting to buy you gifts, or siblings, and they don't know what to get you, and you don't know what to tell them because you don't know what their price range is going to look like. I feel like that could be kind of presumptuous if you ask for a $100 gift from somebody who might not warrant getting a $100 gift from. Yeah, but like, I just think it's a really easy gift.
And you never really know with like aunts.
Right.
It's like you never know how much like they're trying to. Like I ain't trying to be like, I'm gonna send you a link of a $150 thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but then again, it's like, well...
But then do you want a gift that you're not going to like?
But, like, you want to just send them, like, a $20, like, bozo gift? I guess that's where the sock gift comes in.
I guess.
Because it's just miscommunication. You're confused.
$20 is, like, a decent gift.
You give them an idea because you don't know what else to do. You don't really want socks, though.
But, yeah.
So Despise got some gift cards. Go get them. They're on the website right now. Go execute on that opportunity. So that's what we got going on this week. This week has definitely been it's a crazy week, and I'm sure like it is crazy for everybody else. I'm sure if you listen to this, you're traveling. Maybe you're driving home. Maybe you live away from your parents or your family.
You're on a long car ride.
Yeah, somewhere. Right.
You need to kill an hour.
An hour, man. Like, dude, just hang out. But I feel like this week's a good week of just life in general. Right. I feel like this week is like a week of break. I feel like everyone's just kind of taking a break, taking a load off. So, I appreciate y'all spending that with us. We got some questions to dive into. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all came through with the questions. We've been asking y'all, and y'all came through with the questions, man. So first up, I'll do the first one up today. Who slid up on our story?
Oh, you put something on the story?
I did put it on the story this morning. We got one question.
Let's go.
But it's okay because only 150 people have seen this thing. But this question is from Willie G. Woodstock. Shout out to you, my man. He said, how do you learn when something is vintage and how old it really is? Google Lens hasn't cut it for me. This is definitely a common question for sure. I mean, I feel like starting off, I didn't really know. And still, even now, like there's a lot of stuff that like I don't know for sure. And it's hard to know for sure, exactly because like most clothes don't come with a manufacturing date stamp like, military clothes do sometimes. So it's just kind of like, obviously the internet is probably a great resource. You look up, I know people do that a lot, like take a Google Lens, eBay, whatever. You could take a picture of something and then like pull up listings of that one thing. So like you could see it that way. But it's also just like the more exposure, the better. Then you kind of know. It's kind of like if you've seen a whole bunch of 60s tees and 70s tees and 80s tees and 90s tees, if you've seen a lot of those, you can start to pick up on, oh, okay, like these have this. 90s tees are always going to be like longer sleeves, and they're going to have a drop shoulder seam. Like this seam is going to be longer versus 70 tees. The sleeve starts like right here. The seam is a lot higher. Like you just start to pick up on those little things, like the collar, what the single stitch even looks like on those things. You start to pick up on all those things, whether it be jeans or pants or sweatshirts or t-shirts. You just pick up on those things. More exposure, the better. When it starts getting really, really old, I don't even know necessarily, because I'm definitely not an expert in anything before like 1950s. Like it could be 1910s or it could be 1940s. Like I really don't know. A lot of the times you do have to kind of outsource for that kind of thing, but just hit up someone you know, whether it be on Instagram or whether it be a friend, be like, yo, like, what do you think about this? Like, do you know, can you help me out like dating this piece at all?
Yeah, I feel like you've gotten to the point. Yeah, I feel like you've gotten to the point where you can pick up most items that are kind of in your 50s to 90s to 2000s threshold, and you can just like, because you've picked up so many items and been around it for so long, that like you can just pick up items that you can just feel. Okay, this is probably 80s somewhere. You won't be able to like. This is 1982 specifically, but it's like, okay, this is an 80s
Some of the
piece.
things you can, like, you know how Levi's has a little tag and they have the month and the year that they were actually manufactured on the Levi's tag.
Did not know that.
On most of them. Not all of them, but most of them. And also Levi's too, with something like Levi's, there's so many different like little stitch characteristics that like, oh, they only did this between 70 and 74. So like there's a lot of things like that with Levi's. But with everything else, it's just exposure, and it's just knowing, being around it enough and seeing a lot of it, holding a lot of it, touching a lot of it. That's all it really is, my man. That's all it really is. Then the more you do, that's how you learn. With vintage, I feel like experience is key. You can go surf the internet and read a ton of different stuff, but it's always like you just want to be out there in the mix, learning and stuff. So, yeah, thanks for that question, my man. I hope I answered it well. We got another question in the DMs, right? You pull up one on the DMs?
I've got the third question we'll go over.
What is the third question?
This is the longer one.
Oh, the longer
we'll
one.
Go over that longer one last. Amazing question, though.
Really
literally,
good
this
question.
third question we're about to go over, probably it could be a whole podcast episode itself. It literally
100%.
could be its own episode.
Yeah.
It could be its own thing.
It was a really, really great question. I'm looking here for...
It was something about, like, is it worth it to own a small business, can you keep the lights on with it, basically?
Right. Oh, here we go. Okay. So this person said, shout out to Trina on Instagram. She said, hi, I saw you started a podcast. I've yet to listen, so I don't know if it answers this question, but would you say starting a small business is worth it, and do you think it's something that could pay the bills? Also, do you think a business degree is necessary or more helpful when starting one? I had the idea today that I'd be interested in starting a small business making lingerie. I have very beginner sewing skills, so I need to start there, LOL. But I saw your podcast and wanted to reach out because I enjoy your page. Yo, Trina, thank you. Thank you for the question as well. Basically, is it worth starting a small business?
Definitely. I mean, it's hard and it's stressful, and things like you feel like you really start to feel sketchy about things, but like it's one of the most fulfilling things that we've probably ever done. I mean, to sit here and wake up and get Despise to the point that it's at, where every single day we just wake up and work for this. It's been a dream. I mean,
it's been a dream. It's been a dream. It hasn't always started this way too. I think it always starts as like the side hustle, right? Because you don't want to go all in on just an idea that maybe you feel confident about, but it needs to prove itself a little more. It needs to be consistent. And so like it always starts as a side hustle. You got to start it out as a side hustle. Not much responsibility. It's kind of at your own leisure. It's kind of at like how much work you put in, that's how much you're going to get out of it, And you just got to start. I think that's the one thing we've learned with anything is you just got to start. You can't just keep scheming.
No, you can't. I feel like there's been so many people who we've, talked to, and like our peers in the space have been like, oh, like we want to do this, but like we want the idea or the concept to be so good, or like we want we want
it to be perfect when we release it.
You might want to fix your hair. Add a funky little thing to it. But yeah, it's like it's so conceptual. They feel like it has to be perfect. They feel like it's it's their baby, so like it's got to look as great as it can. And it's just like
Right.
you realize like when you like your first attempt at something is probably going to be your worst attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say,
You gotta get that out the way almost.
right? It's literally just growing pains, and like it's hard to it's hard to articulate that and explain to people why, like just to put it out there. Like
Yep.
when we first started making video content, it was rough.
It was very bad.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Like it like no part of it was necessarily the most watchable thing, nor was it effective. It was gross. It was bad. It wasn't very good. Like the original editing skills that I had were literally crap compared to what they are now. And like,
But it's just starting that.
yeah,
Because if we would have waited and been like, oh, let's wait until we have this, or let's wait until we, whatever, like you're just delaying that process by so
Yes.
much. And then the next thing you know, you don't even want to do it anymore, or you're doing something else. Like you
Or
just
you can't
got to
do it
start
anymore.
it. You just have to start it and just go with it and let it, because it'll kind of like naturally like take its
you'll just naturally get
take its
better at
course.
stuff.
You know, like it'll kind of like make it its own thing too.
Yeah.
Like whatever you're doing, it'll become like it's its own thing almost too, and you gotta just like go with it. But yeah, you gotta start. You can't just keep like if you want to become an influencer, right? I've been meaning to, you know, like post fits on Instagram or like post fashion opinions on Instagram, bro. Like
Just-
order that mic, order that tripod for your phone to set it up.
Yeah.
Order that ring light that you need. Like do that today. Do that right now, and make a video right now.
Just start.
And just do one every single day.
Right.
Like you just have to start it. You can't wait till the stars align and perfect opportunity, because there's never going to be perfect opportunity. It's never going to be perfect. You just got to start it. So
Yeah.
that would be my thing. In terms of business degree, sure, that'd be helpful. Is it
Yeah.
necessary? I don't think so. I think you learn a lot on the way.
I think there's two different schools of thought here. One is like obviously there is value in getting a business degree. Like you are going to learn things and you are going to take things from you. Like I was originally a business major. I ended up transferring out, getting my degree in something else. But I was originally a business major, and that provided a pretty solid foundation for my understanding of like what it means for a business to make money, what it means to be profitable, like general accounting like practices, stuff like that.
Right.
Is stuff that I just kind of had as a floor level when we started. And so I definitely think that
How to work a spreadsheet.
right, and like tools that you need and stuff like that, like all that stuff, it provides value. And like
It does, because I didn't know how to do any of that, and
yeah,
it was only a matter of time before that caught up to me.
right. And I feel like so like there is some value, and there can be a lot of value, but like I said, the other school of thought that kind of comes into play here is that it is going to take a mind that, I'm not saying like ours is this way, but like definitely in tandem we're not afraid to be like this, but like a mind that is incredibly critical and is not afraid to just be wrong about things and admit when you're wrong. I feel like there's a lot of times that Tim and I will have done stuff and we went a certain path, and like we were just looking at each other at the end of it after it was done, and it was like that sucked. Like that whatever that is, it's just obviously not working. We didn't do this well, and like you kind of have to put your pride down a minute and just kind of understand that your whatever effort you put into whatever the thing is, it probably didn't work, and like that's okay. And there's always going to be things that don't work, and it's just kind of like not being afraid to admit you're wrong and then learning from that mistake. I feel like that is an underrated thing, and that's like if you don't go to school and you don't go to get that formal education of business, you almost have to have a mind like that, or else you're just going to be like kind of stuck in your ways of but this is how I wanted to do it, even though it didn't do well. Like this is how I want to do it, so I'm going to keep doing things that way. Like you have to change.
Yeah,
like if
100%.
things don't work business wise, like you have to be able to learn from things and change. And without that, I mean, you don't go to business school and you don't have that mind, like business probably isn't cut out for you. Like, and I don't mean that to sound as pessimistic as it is probably coming across, but it's just like you are going to struggle to find success within like the business field and within small businesses if you're not afraid. Like if you're so caught up in like, but I want it to be this way. It's like, well, how, like we would love for more people to see our stories, like our Instagram stories. We'd love that. That'd be a great thing. We'd love for things to go back the way they are, but like we just kind of admit that like whatever we had been doing / still are doing isn't working, so something needs to change. And there's nothing bad about that.
No,
I mean, like sure,
just
like
how life happens.
right. And it's just things
Change
happen and
stuff just
So yeah, I think you
changes.
don't need a business degree, but like you just have to be able to think like that and like kind of put the pride down when it comes to being wrong.
Yeah. And also, like, yeah, if you don't have a business degree, yeah, just like expect to like, yeah, not know a whole lot about the business side, because I just knew everything about clothes, right? I knew like what would sell, what to get, stuff like that. I didn't know anything about profit and loss and spreadsheets and stuff like that. So, just especially if you're doing it alone, just be ready to like learn all that stuff, like the learning curve of that. But I mean, no, I don't think you need a business degree. Just be ready to like learn, and absorb that information.
And also don't be afraid to fail either. Because like kind of we were touching on with just starting is like, dude, there's so much stuff that we did that just like didn't work.
100%.
Like
I said,
or
you
was
almost have
effective.
to get that out of the way. You have to get that out of the way, because your first attempt is not going to be good.
No.
Like with anybody, with any profession, like
Yeah.
like your first attempt's not going to be good. So it's like the sooner you get that out of the way, the sooner you'll be better to like your better stuff and like stuff that is actually going to work for you. So you just have to start, I think. But yeah, that's a great question. I hope that answered it, and I hope that also indirectly answered anybody else's questions. Maybe if y'all think about that subconsciously,
Right.
about if y'all have an idea, y'all been thinking about doing this or that, or I hope that kind of
I think we also hope
shed
that
some
it
light.
inspires you a little bit to like, if you do feel like you do have this dream and you kind of hear us
You've been pushing
at
it
least,
back.
speaking our kind of like our piece in that of like, or at least our perspective, and you hear us saying that like, and you kind of have that idea that you want to do and you kind of been pushing it. I hope that it does inspire you that like it is possible, that like you've got a good idea and you want to go for it, but like you're kind of like self-handicapping with the thought of like, oh, but I don't have a business degree. Like,
I don't have
what
like
am I
the
gonna
resources necessarily. Like I don't have the money to drop. It takes money to get into it. Find the cheapest way to do it.
do? Or just make
If
your own
it's-
cheapest way. Before we had nice equipment, I handmade some equipment for us.
Yeah.
It was not good and didn't work very well.
Yeah.
But
It was fine for the time being. And it's
Yeah.
just the evolution of everything. You're not going to start with a lot of resources for the most part. But again, got to start somewhere. Find
gotta
a way
do
to
it.
make it work. Find a way. And then it'll just grow and happen. But yeah, that's a great question. It's a really great question. All right, you want to get into this third question now.
Yeah,
Shout out
so
to this
this-
person who commented. There's a comment from YouTube. So if you're seeing this on YouTube or anything, leave
Yeah.
a comment. This is your inspiration to leave a comment.
yeah, so for those of you who don't know, these videos do go up on YouTube. So if you're riding in the car, they're on Spotify. But if you want to watch the video format of us
Yeah.
sitting down with each other, it is on YouTube. So
Despise
check it out
Gossip.
there. And so
Despise Gossip YouTube.
Luke Dermody commented on that recent episode, said, "Solid show, guys. Quick question from a small reselling group looking to transition from pop-ups only to the e-commerce world. Which platform do you currently recommend the most? Depop, eBay, or is a website king? We offer a mix of true vintage, modern, streetwear, sportswear, true vintage plus modern streetwear, sportswear with an emphasis on reasonable pricing as much as possible. TIA, and good luck, fellas. Thanks in advance."
Heard.
Um,
Yeah, so
That-
packed question, bro.
very
Packed question.
long question.
For
so-
sure. Definitely a lot to speak on. So, Luke, I hope we answer all of it that you're wanting to know. But yeah, getting away from pop-ups, again, that's something that we talked about, because pop-ups aren't always going to be great. Some pop-ups are going to be great for you. Some pop-ups aren't.
Also,
Month by
they're-
month, they're going to vary, and it's the same amount of work,
Yeah.
and it's not the same amount of promised reward or profit at
also,
the end.
like what happens?
So
if
it's
it-
just a little sus.
what happens if it rains in your pop-up? Like what if you're
happens if it
really
rains?
banking on this pop-up to help make ends meet, and all of a sudden it just pours out, and it's an outdoor venue?
Yeah.
Like,
Also, I don't think y'all want to work every Saturday of your life doing pop-ups, traveling to different cities. If you do, shout out to you, bro. But
got
I
a
don't think you
traveler
want to
spirit.
work. Yeah, bro. Like, there's weekdays for a reason, and there's weekends for a reason too. Like, all your friends are doing stuff on Saturday, and you're like, oh, I got a pop-up to do in a different city, so I can't do this thing. And if you book up every Saturday of your month, you have no Saturdays. So yeah, for sure, that's definitely something that we've done, is get away from pop-ups just towards e-commerce. And I would say selling on other platforms is a really good resource, especially if you're lacking the following, if you don't necessarily have an audience based around you, because basically what it does, you use the platform obviously you get a fee taken out of like a third of whatever you sell. But basically like that's like you paying for those audience. Like that's like you paying for the audience around you to see your stuff.
Isn't Depop's fee percentage like 10%?
Bro, they raise it all the time.
Really?
I think it's more.
But yeah, I feel like kind of to build off of what you're saying, I feel like it's a process, where you want to go. I think the main takeaway is, do you own your audience?
Mm-hmm.
And like, can you not monetize them, but like, do you own your audience, and are you providing a product that your audience wants to buy, right? And what I mean by own your audience is like, are they an audience that you are directly in control, relatively in control of what they see? Whether it's like, I feel like the average person who goes on Grailed doesn't have necessarily very much, ownership or association with a specific seller, or like much of a connection with a specific seller, because they just see pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of items. And so they're more looking at an item base, as opposed to, at least what we've done is we've built up an audience over the past 3 years on Instagram. I think we're at 17,500 followers of people who, have followed us over the years. And, we've done the best we can to, take that audience, advertise, and show all of our products and all of that stuff to our audience, and then get them to go to our website and check it out and, maybe buy something. I mean, that's the goal. And like, that's what I mean by own. Like, do you own the audience? Because if you have a decent following on Instagram, like that could be a great little way you can derive them there. Because probably what a lot of people do, and I've seen this, but a lot of people have their Depop links on Instagram, and so what they do is they just basically, oh yeah, it's the link in my bio, and people go click on the link. It's like, well, if you just had your own website, which there's a lot.
That part is crazy. Where resellers have on their Instagram a link to their Depop and Grailed. Right. Because then it's like, don't go to those things. Buy them through me. Because if you go to Depop and buy it, bro, we're literally just paying Depop for the transaction that Instagram basically set up.
Right. And so, but if you can get them to, instead of having the link be your Depop link, have the link be a link to your website. Then like you don't have to pay the 10 to 15% Depop or Grailed fee or whatever, or eBay fee.
And after a year and a half of selling things on Depop and Grailed and eBay, like, bro,
you miss out on
a lot of money, bro. A lot of money. You miss out on a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so yeah, try to get the website. But again, it's not like, oh, get a website, we can sell through the website. For a while, we were doing both.
We were definitely doing both.
We had the website, we had the Instagram building up. We had the website going with the Instagram. So like, we're trying to build our following up on Instagram. We had the website up. Then that was being marketed through Instagram. And then basically to support that while that was building up, because it wasn't supportable by itself, we still posted everything on Grailed, Depop, no eBay, but Grailed and Depop.
Right.
We still posted everything there and like got sales through that to like help just like feed the money machine of like Instagram and like buying ads and like paying for a website, stuff like that.
Well, it's like,
it's been a slow transition.
You only sell items to an audience, right? Whatever that audience is, their audience has to be there. Like, there has to be buyers to buy items. Like, if you're selling to an empty room, like, you're not going to sell anything.
Right.
And so that's when, when the room that you have, aka like your followers or your customer base that exists, whether it's people DMing you or whatever, like, to up those numbers, that's when it's great to sell on a third-party platform like Depop, Grailed, because it's like, they have millions of users every day.
Exactly.
And so like that's when it's great as you're kind of building and scaling things. But kind of the route that we took is, like Tim said, we built our Instagram while still selling on Depop and Grailed to support it. But the end goal was always to drive people just direct to our website so they can buy direct from us.
Yeah.
They don't have to deal with the Grailed of like holding the funds and releasing the funds and supplying the tracking.
And now Grailed wants to give you the
Grailed wants to sell you the
shipping label.
Yeah.
Shipping label. They want to give you that already for some reason, I guess. I don't know why they do that, but but another thing that we did too, even we would sell something through Grailed, and like, how Grailed or Depop, they're sensitive about if you type in the chat being like, yo, just message me on Instagram, I'll sell it to you then. Like, you can't
so to avoid the fee,
you'll get like banned. Flag you.
I think we got banned a couple times, just like because it's so sensitive.
So it's very sensitive. But basically, what we would do is we would sell something on Grailed or Depop, and we put a card in the package saying like, hey, go to our website. Like, we drop a ton of stuff on our website. So if you like this, go to our website. And I don't know if that worked, but that's something that we did because we would just keep trying to.
We would promote the Instagram and the website on those cards, and it'd be
Instagram
like, "Thank you for your order." Like here's our Instagram. We promote and push a lot of stuff on our Instagram, and you'll get early access to all these items.
I think we put a promo code on those cards.
Yes, and we did give like a 10% off or like a free shipping off like your order.
Yeah.
Whenever you use the coupon code that was on that card, just because it was like we had this audience and we're selling to this audience already on Grailed, so like might as well kind of advertise and show them, hey, you're probably getting this item for a little bit cheaper, probably a little bit quicker, and it helps us of not having to pay the Grailed fee and also like not be reliant on Grailed's algorithm, because I feel like I feel like the game nowadays is everybody's just always reliant upon all these algorithms, and I feel like the less algorithms you can rely on, the better. So if you can rely on just one, it might be a little bit easier. I could be wrong, but it felt like there was days that on Grailed that Grailed just loved our stuff. There was times that it was just like
I remember I'd go before I went to bed I'd post like 60 items, and then the next day I'd wake up and be like 20 have sold overnight, dude. You got 15 messages about all these different items. Like for some reason it just boomed, it just boosted, put it on the front pages of everything.
And then there was
for whatever reason.
Yeah, and then there was days that
no one was seeing nothing.
We'd post like 200 items on Grailed and nothing for like a week, and we're like, what's going on with this?
Yeah, so it's just like, you don't know. I mean, those third-party sources, they're good because they have a big audience, and they're good for starting out because it's quick, it's easy. But again, you're missing out.
It's virtually no cost to you to get started either, which is really
no cost to get started. It's very nice, but you're not necessarily. Our big thing is like you're not building a brand. So if the thing about it is, if your end goal is like, I want to have this website and I want to have this Instagram and I want to maybe even have a storefront. Maybe that's your vision.
Or if it's just a side hustle.
The faster you could, if it's a side hustle, sure, stay on Grow Depop. You're gonna make money and like you're gonna be losing a little bit of money, but it's just so much easier. But if your vision is long term, definitely move towards your website. Move towards like doing everything yourself, right? Like what do manufacturing companies try to do? They want to try to buy the factory and produce it themselves, right? So they save money in the long run. I mean, that's the same goal with this.
And this seems like a large, probably not right or like egregious comparison, but like Nike doesn't post items on Grailed. You buy items from Nike.com or like the Nike store. You know what I'm saying? Like, And so it's all about your end goal. Like he was saying, like if you're just looking for a side hustle, make a couple extra, $100 a week, and you have the items to do that, like sure, go post items on Grailed, and if that's all you're looking for.
And you could definitely make a good amount of money on Grailed. Like there was a while I just did that. That's how this whole thing started. I just did that, and I made good money. Not necessarily like side hustle money, like a couple $100 a week. You can make more than that if you go hard with it, and it can become your main hustle. But maybe it could become your main hustle for a while, but maybe like long term, it's not even your vision. It's not even what you want to do. Like long term, maybe you're like in college, or maybe you're just like in between jobs, whatever the case is.
Right.
And that's fine.
Like for us, the long term view is always to try to build a brand, and it was always try to grow an audience. And like, I feel like on third party websites like Depop and Grailed, you always just hit a cap. You hit a ceiling of like, okay, for me to kind of break through this threshold, I'm gonna have to do so much more and so much more differently, and it's just a volume game, and it's just like, dude, you can only find so many vintage clothes at once. Yeah.
And that kind of brings us to another part of your question about how you have a lot of different types of vintage, whether it be true vintage or Y2K stuff or 90s stuff. And while that is really good, and while that is kind of the game that you play with selling on Grailed, Depop, and eBay, because like the more people you can market towards, the better.
And also just the more the volume of like, if you like when you
if
have
you
wider
categories,
clothes, right? Or if you have like wider categories or more categories, you have a wider range of items, which means you have access to more items you could sell.
Exactly. So like that's kind of the game with that. Like you want to have the most you can. But I would say in terms of website and Instagram stuff, like it's not necessarily branding. Like if you look at really successful, like look at Unsound Rags, for example. If you look at their Instagram is successful. You could say their website, their business, it's all successful. And basically what it is, like they figured out what they want to focus on. They figured out their niche. They figured out their taste, their curation, what kind of items they want to sell. And I think that does a lot. Like sure, they're missing out on all the money that could be made on if they wanted to sell sports tees. But then again, it's like they know, it's like, well, if we build up this branding and like this kind of feel to our curation and build up this curation, it's almost like we can make more money off of like that.
Well, it kind of becomes
just build
like
a brand that way.
Right. It kind of becomes a business superpower is what we've learned, is that your ability to brand and whatever, like it's like a secret weapon. It's like I saw this recently on like a TikTok clip or a reel clip or whatever of like, if you look at Red Bull's Instagram, Red Bull has like 18 million followers, something ridiculous. Obviously everybody knows Red Bull, but like Red Bull doesn't post their products on Instagram. What they post is like everything that you would associate the Red Bull brand with. And so because of that, they've grown and whatever. I think it's an interesting thing of not just like, hey, look at all these items, go buy them. Like you need to do more than that. It's like, what sort of aesthetic are you establishing? What sort of curation are you establishing? Like, there's this funny question that Tim got asked a number of years ago whenever we were kind of like starting to not do super great at pop-ups. And this is kind of a different conversation for another time.
Right.
But he got asked a really funny question. It was like, do you ever regret being so niche? Like being so pigeonholed into true vintage and the curation that he
70s,
really likes.
yeah.
And it was like, he just kind of laughed. He's like, man, who knows? Like, wouldn't actually ask that just because, what do you say to that? Like, that feels kind
like,
of...
sure, like, yes, you can look at it in the short-term surface level lens of like, yeah, we're not doing as good as pop-ups because not this many people in Charlotte want 70s bell bottoms and, 70s t-shirts. There's not that many people. They'd rather buy a sports shirt from their favorite college or their favorite football team. So, like, in that aspect, it didn't help us being so niche. But what it did help is it gave us a foundation to, like, build our Instagram up from. It gave us a foundation to, like, market, and it gave us a foundation to like, get our own identity. Because especially in vintage community, like, everyone is low-key selling the same thing. It's right. Vintage clothing is all kind of the same. So if I see this person's Instagram that sells everything under the sun, and I see this person's Instagram that sells also everything under the sun from the same city even, there's what differentiates them.
Right.
Them. It's just like, sure, you could say their product, what they sell, but like, he may have something I want, he may have something I want.
But you go to Unsound Rags and you know exactly
what you're going to get. It's like you kind of know what you're looking for too, and they kind of sell you on that too. Like, no, trust, like, you want these black vintage stuff, like you want this overdyed t-shirt that we did. Like, they sell you on that, so it helps you stand out, because you can't be like everybody else, in the same game with everybody else. Like you said, there's a ceiling to that. You can only do that for so long. Like, there needs to be another way that you plan on separating yourself. And again, I guess another way that you would separate yourself if you are selling everything that everyone else is selling is pricing. So yeah. That's a game that we were playing for a while too, because It was like, how cheap can we sell this stuff for? Because we were so volume game. We were so like, get a bunch in and then like sell a bunch, because it's okay if it's cheaper because we're selling so much of it. So we're playing the quantity game.
Yeah, I would say the whole, like, trying to have, reasonable prices around your brand, that's not a super... I don't mean to knock, because, like, we were like that, but, like, that's not the most unique thought, because a lot of people have tried that, a lot of people do it, and I, like, don't mean this in a bad way, but, like, at some point, like, your bottom line is going to be affected with growth, or, like, your bottom line, aka the money you take home, is going to affect how much you can grow, just because you need more resources to grow.
Right. So basically, when I used to go to the bins every day, we used to get items for like literally $1. So we could sell that item for $25 and have a huge profit margin.
Right.
But what happened is, over time, I'm back in school. We moved cities. There's not even a bins close to Atlanta. I can't go and pick things for $1 anymore. I have to go buy them from someone who does pick them for $1. So basically, what happens is, instead of paying $1, we pay $10 or $15 per item. So that means we have to sell it for more. But what that does is it frees up so much more time to where I can go to school. I can do other things in the business, like do the custom drops, and not have to worry about me working 40 hours a week just sourcing vintage clothing. So, like, and that's just a part of the growth of it.
Right.
Obviously, you want to keep it reasonable pricing, because it's just like, I don't want to just list a bunch of stuff for a crazy amount of money. But I also think there's like some pros in that as well, as listing, because if you're going to demand that much money, if you're going to list this item for this much money, everything else has to follow to that high standard. Your website has to follow to that high standard. Your marketing has to follow to that high standard. So that's also going to force you to grow a little bit more as well, because it's going to upgrade every single thing. So more expensive things isn't necessarily a bad idea. It's not necessarily like, oh, this is going to break everything. Because what it's going to allow you to do is
you'll be able to put that money and invest it into other things that are going to make the overall company better.
It's just a part of the growth thing. I don't. At some point, this might not be the case for everybody, but at some point, everyone's going to be limited on how much they can source by hand and how much they can source for like very cheap. Because at some point, it's like, well, we want to get more stuff. Well, how do we do that? We go buy it from people. We have to pay more money for that. So then we have to sell it for more. It's just the natural growth of things. Yeah. Don't pigeonhole yourself into like, we want to keep everything super cheap. So that means you have to get everything for super cheap. So we're missing out on a lot of opportunities. We're spending a lot of time focusing on that. I don't think it necessarily has that much longevity in it. I do understand the appeal behind it. I definitely do, but I think it's there's a lot of other things that come with just raising prices. So many other things that come with that. So
it's also just like the game you're playing when you're playing the reasonably priced game. The game is quantity. It's how many items can you have access to, how many items can you get your hands on, and how cheap can you get them. You know, like if you have a billion items that you got for basically free, okay, then that's a way different conversation. Nobody has access to a billion items. Nobody has access to 100,000 items. Like currently in our inventory, we have like 2,000 to 3,000 items that we've sourced, and like if we had access to 25,000 free items, okay, yeah, we'd just be letting stuff go on the website for way cheaper, because it would be about turnover and like turning items over and constantly getting items out the door, and like that would be the game. But like in terms of when you're trying to establish a brand, when you try to establish like a feel, an aesthetic, like it sounds weird and counterintuitive. It was definitely a learning curve for us, but like a price comes with the aesthetic. It's like why you like On Sound Rags can charge, you know, yes, I said On Sound.
Yeah. You said On Sound.
Oh no, my bad. Unsound Rags can charge, you know, the prices they charge, and like most people when they first see it are like, why are you charging, you know, X amount for just these black articles?
And people are gonna like hate and
and I'm sure that they catch a bunch of flack. I mean, we've caught a little bit of flack and we don't have that expensive of stuff, but you're paying for the brand behind the item. It's like why do you pay $1,000 for a Louis bag or like whatever designer?
Sure, yes, it's done to a master level between the sewing and the fabric and the construction, master level, 100%.
But you're also paying.
But it's still like they still don't, because you pay $10,000 for a leather Louis duffel bag. Like it didn't cost them $6,000 to make that.
No, you're paying.
Cost them a lot, but not that much. You know what I'm saying?
You're just paying for the brand and the association that comes with those items, and so like. With us, like I feel like you're paying for, you know, the Despise Gossip brand being like this true vintage aesthetic Western wear that like it's hard to kind of replicate, and also it's unique. It's its own thing, especially with our custom pieces. I feel like
especially with the custom pieces, sure.
And so it's like the quality of the custom pieces is obviously good. But like it's not pristine level stuff. You know, I don't think it'll ever be pristine level, because like. That's not our game. Our game isn't let's make things pristine, but like I feel like we still charge like a decent penny on those custom pieces, but it's because of the brand and everything behind it. And so don't mean that in a way of like
don't focus on reasonable pricing,
because like obviously you have to sell clothes while you don't have a necessarily very established brand, but like you kind of like have to just be prepared to kind of grow out of that. And that's something that we've had to learn, that like it doesn't feel like it would make sense to raise prices at times, or like to constantly just push that ball forward of like, okay, this drop, I'm going to, you know, add $1 or $2 per item or whatever it is. But like that is how business works. And like it's kind of how like it sounds weird to bring this up, but it's kind of how inflation works, with inflation growing, you know, at a healthy rate of 2% a year, but like what it's been this year with like 8% inflation, whatever it's been. But like things are just always going to end up costing more, and if you're so focused on reasonable prices, like you end up like kind of getting yourself in a trap of like, okay, now like this year we paid, you know, like 2 years ago we paid probably like $7.50 to $9 an item, but this year we're having to pay $11, and so it's just like when you're not raising your prices, you're kind of slowly eating into your margin, and then it limits your growth and it limits what you can do. I mean, one of the biggest increases in expenses that we have had over the past year, especially, is how much we spend on ads and spend on marketing and our marketing budget and buying tools and things we need to make things better, and we wouldn't have been able to do that.
And it's just like if you want to get your inventory better, a lot of people have good inventory. So if you only wanted to sell wrap tees, right? Say you wanted to only sell wrap tees, you're gonna have to buy those wrap tees from somebody. Sure, you can get them at a deal, but they're still going to be expensive because they're wrap tees. So for then you to go turn that around and then for you to sell them and make money off of it, it's like you're going to pay more, prices are going to go up. So it's like if you want your inventory to be good, it's a lot of times it's not going to be good just by you sourcing. Typically, it's not the case. If you said you have a team. But good inventory comes from a large amount of sources. And again, to get that good inventory, you pay more. But then what that means is like you have a bunch of really good inventory that just hit your website. So it's a really interesting give and take. I think reasonable pricing is something that is important, but not necessarily like a rabbit hole, which you have to like rabbit hole yourself into and really focus on and whatnot. But yeah, so does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so. I feel like that kind of encompasses all parts of the question. I'll reread it and look it over real fast to make sure. But yeah, to the Depop and eBay question we went over, just like it depends on your goals.
Your goals depending on long term. Short term goals, great. Third party platforms. Long term goals, move towards a website, move towards doing it yourself. Whatever that looks like. It's like how Taylor Swift owns her music now. She wants to own her music, so she makes all the money off of it, not a label. It's the same idea.
Right. One part that we did forget was like you asked what platform we recommend. So what we use for everything is our website is built through Shopify. Shopify houses all of our inventory. Yep. Shopify has all the plugins you need for an Instagram shop, a TikTok shop. So basically, like Shopify, I cannot recommend it enough. Of like, it's just the biggest, the best, the most integrated one-stop shop for everything. We use their free templates for websites. Like, we pay I think $30 a month for just their services, but like we use their free templates on the website, so we're not paying this crazy developer cost or anything like that.
Right.
They have like 2.9% merchant processing fees, which is just like credit card fees. Super normal for
anything. You're gonna have credit card fees, like just charging cards. It's gonna have a small fee.
There's a website builder. It's really easy to use, pretty easy to customize. All you got to do is just upload your artwork and just some of the free templates are a little bit restrictive in what we can do. I've noticed that like I can't drag and drop, completely customize, add different features in kind of at will. It's just like it's a little bit prohibitive, and like obviously you just have to like buy a nice template to whatever, but like we haven't done that, mainly because we just haven't needed to, because we've made things work and we figured it out. But website builder manages all your inventory. It's just super intuitive, really easy to use. It has all your analytics, all your traffic, anything you would need. I would highly recommend Shopify. We're not sponsored by them. That'd be great if we were.
That'd be fire.
But like,
Shopify, shout out, dude.
But I mean, it's just so easy to like not have to pay a website developer or a website coder to like code you a custom website and then upload new. Like it's really easy, super simple. I can't recommend it enough.
Yep. So your Shopify platform, and then in terms of pricing, that's just something that again grows with you, and it just depends on how your business is run. That's how you price things. But it's just it just happens through time and circumstances, and it is what it is. Kind of you just kind of take it as it comes. Take it one step at a time. Say, we'll start labeling more items like $5 more expensive. We'll start labeling another $5 more expensive. Like, it's just little things like that. But I hope that answered your question. We knew it was going to be long. We could talk about more. So if you have another question about that, like more specifically about one thing, don't hesitate to comment.
And so, let that be a reminder to everybody who has any sort of questions or anything. Like, always let us know. We love to.
If you got a question at all, that could be a personal question for each of us, or that could be just like hey, like I have this going with, this business, or I'm selling this. Like, what do you think? Whatever. We'd be happy to help in any way. No.
Quick topic, though. Something I saw recently is, like, once again, Bitch Stitch posted this, that certain Goodwills up north are now like they have basically signs up for their, there's people who sort their inventory and stuff to like be on the lookout for certain brands to send to their e-commerce. So what do you think about Goodwill kind of getting into
Goodwill's corrupt? Goodwill's corrupt. That's exactly what it is. Goodwill's corrupt. Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because they say they're a non-profit, so they don't pay that much in taxes. But that's a cap. That's a cap, but they're just saving money. Yes, even the whole idea of the way that they're going through, Bid Stitch, Drew, he sat down with like the CEO of Goodwill and was like, so why is Goodwill like, because now it's like you go into a Goodwill and you see like a leather jacket or you see like a band tee. I've seen like NASCAR tees and Goodwill that are priced at like $30 or like a leather jacket priced at $60. Like, bro, this is Goodwill. And his whole idea was like, well, items are more expensive, so we want to get as much as we can for them so they can go back into the business. But again, the business is corrupt, bro. The business is corrupt, and it's kind of capping about the way that they use their money and like what they do with their money. Like the CEO is really a millionaire. Like he's so rich.
Probably a billionaire. I mean, maybe not a billionaire.
Maybe not a billionaire, but dude, he's so rich, bro. And yeah, for them, like morally, for them to get all these items for free, donate it to them. Sure, the labor of sorting them and whatnot, but them to get all the for free, and then to not just have like everything under the same umbrella of price, for them to raise because like they see what's trending, unreal. That's unreal, I think, and
definitely brings up an interesting concept of like the morality behind it.
It's the morality behind it, yeah, bro. Good, yeah. It's definitely crazy, and it's definitely because it's more trendy. And people say like, oh, that's why you don't post your finds at Goodwill. Don't post like, all like of you finding like this one t-shirt at the racks. Post it at the racks. Like Goodwill's gonna see that and be like, oh, like that's what they're gonna look for. And a lot of times like it's not at the point now where it's like they're catching everything. They're not catching everything. It's really just a few things, I think. And I've never even gone through the Goodwill e-commerce website.
I've never seen it.
I don't even know how much people even use that, to be honest with you. But yeah, I know that they've been doing that for a while. The bins I used to go to was funny. It was like they used to, like the workers used to, if a NASCAR tee came out, like obviously we're online waiting for the bin to come out. If a NASCAR tee came out, they would like literally put it on top. They would like unfold it and put it on top. So like as they were rolling it out, everyone's in line, everyone's just like looking at it, being like, oh bro, like right on top, bro. Like they know we're gonna go crazy over it. So like that was funny. But yeah, the whole like getting this thing and selling it, bro. It just Goodwill is not a good corporation.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never. At least
that's why every time I go into Goodwill, they're like, oh, you want to round up for blah blah blah. Heck no, bro. Y'all don't need my extra change. Y'all don't need more of a donation. Like, it's a low-key already a donation that I'm coming and shop with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm already going there, spending money with you guys that you got it for free. So, like, it's already a donation that I'm shopping with y'all. And then they want to ask for more on top.
Right.
It's crazy, bro.
They do some good, though. I feel like there is some.
Sure, bro. They can give people jobs. Yeah, they can provide jobs. And especially for people who, like, I know from the Goodwill bins, you kind of talk to some of the people, like some of the workers there, and they're like, oh, I'm doing this a part of, like, whether they're on parole or whether they're on community service, they have to do something like that. That's good because it's like it's giving them something to do and like something like whatever their job requirement is, whatever they have to do. So it's good in those things too because it is like a pretty standard job. Like you don't have to be skilled in any way really to work at Goodwill. Like you just learn how to work cash register, or you're working in the back sorting clothes or whatnot. So yeah, it does provide jobs.
But
so like that's good. But in terms of the money thing, like big business money thing, definitely a little questionable. A little questionable, and that's not hard to see that either. Like if you watch that interview that Despise did, or if you just kind of like look into other thrift stores and whatnot, it's definitely questionable because then you got like the good wholesome thrift stores, the little mom and pops, the little church thrift stores through a church,
like kind of like Salvation Armies
and stuff like that is like stuff that's actually going towards a church or going towards like a charity fund, right? So it's like that's really a nonprofit, bro. Like that store is not making money, off of what sells. Like that money is going to something larger that's better. Goodwill is making. You cannot tell me Goodwill is not making money. Goodwill is literally making money. That's why there's so many daggone Goodwills.
It makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Checks out. It's easily the biggest, thrift store, secondhand store, whatever you want to call it, out there. And obviously, they sell more than just clothes. But like, I get what you mean, though. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny. It's just like, I remember the days back then of like, dude, you could find everything, so much value at Goodwill. Now it's like Goodwill knows what they have. They don't even let it see the floor, or two, if it does, it's taxed.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and that's why the racks are just getting like less and less. But that's why it's more about the bins, because more stuff comes out of the bins and whatnot. At least in my opinion. But yeah. So that's very odd. It's very odd. It's very crazy, questionable. Me and my homies hate Goodwill, but we love Goodwill, but we hate Goodwill. But yeah, so Thanksgiving week. So if you're watching this, happy Thanksgiving, happy holiday.
Yes.
I hope it's good. Safe travels to everyone out there traveling. Getting on, going somewhere. I hope it's great. Again, to reiterate, Black Friday stuff. Look out for all of that stuff. We have a lot of cool stuff going on for Black Friday. A lot of opportunities to get some really cool pieces for really cheap. So yeah, take advantage of that. Stay posted up to date on our Instagram stuff.
Yeah.
Be looking out. We'll do another podcast next week. Again, want to reiterate again, ask questions. We love answering y'all's questions.
Yeah, let us know if you got anything burning, anything come up last minute.
Yep.
Just literally, it could questions. Be any time of the week. It doesn't have to be in a direct response to a video. Just literally, hey, I thought of this question. Send it over to us. DM us, whatever it is.
Yep.
Whatever form. But anyways, hope y'all enjoyed.
Appreciate y'all for watching. This concludes episode 4. Episode 5 coming real soon. Appreciate y'all.
See ya.